Welcome, welcome. Blessings to all the Uncensored Enlightenment family. Today is going to be a serious topic. This is an improv live. I wasn't planning on going live today. Y'all know tomorrow is going to be hot topics, but this is a hot topic. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because the Black community don't really get into these conversations a lot, but we're always prompted to be involved in certain political arenas when it's time to cast a vote. So I want to go into this I'm going to tell you from what perspective, because I don't want y'all to think that I'm biased or anything. We're going to look at it from a police perspective. We're going to look at it from a wife's perspective, and we're going to look at it from a common sense perspective, okay? This situation that happened with Mr. Pelosi, to me, is out of control. Everything that I say is for information and educational purposes, and I will say allegedly. It's going to be based on just reading the situation, because it's a little weird. So we're going to start off first by getting to know a little bit about who Nancy Pelosi is and who Mr. Pelosi is, because that made me really want to figure this out. I'm like, who is this man? And because this is the second attempt on his life, and I mean less than a year, who hates him? Who wants him not alive? This is not I'm not even going to say it, because at the end of the day, we should be able to speak how we want to, but I'm going to be as guarded as I try to be, without my overlords being mad at me. Now, let's start from the beginning. Now, Nancy Pelosi does have a channel, and I want to show you her channel, and just to know a little bit of history about her, how long she's been in actually the Democratic Party, a little bit about her history, how she got started. Let's find out about this woman. When you go to do your research, I'm going to keep it real. You don't find a lot of information about these people. When I go do my research, all I see is Democrat versus Republican, and just all of that. Okay, so right now I'm trying to kind of step out of that, and let's look at this from a humanistic perspective. So this is about 3 minutes. This is from actually the Congresswoman's page about
Nancy
her beginning.
Pelosi would raise her right hand. Do you?
It's about 3 minutes. Have some patience.
When she arrived in Congress in 1987, there were 23 women in the 435-member House of Representatives.
That's a very small group. Easy to get talked over, easy to get ignored, easy to get second-guessed and one-upped all the time. That's just the nature of it.
So help you God. You are a member of the House of Representatives.
First time I met Nancy Pelosi, she had just won an election. I think it was a special election in San Francisco. We had a little dinner group, 10 or 12. We go to dinner Tuesday night,
this is
usually in
the
an
longest
Italian
3 minutes
restaurant.
of my life, but we're going to watch it together, okay?
They called it the gang. And Tuesday nights, they would always have dinner, all kinds of conversations.
Like plastic.
On Tuesday evenings, I would often have dinner with a group of members of Congress. The men never turned and asked, "What do you think?" Never.
They would talk right over you. Talk right over you. And there is that famous conversation of the guys talking about when their children were born and how difficult it was for them. So Nancy remembers it well.
All the men were discussing their experiences with childbirth. Meanwhile, we women were sort of elbowing each other, trying not to laugh. We were all thinking, well, now surely they'll ask us. It never happened. 11 childbirths among us, and not once did it occur to the men that we might have something to contribute on the subject.
When you think of the entrenched paternalism and crude sexism, that's what she came into.
Listen.
A totally paternalistic society with a lot of crudeness.
Nancy Pelosi was used to being surrounded by men. She grew up the only girl among 5 brothers and a powerful father. the newly elected mayor of Baltimore.
When her father won that first election for mayor of Baltimore, they had a family portrait painted of Victory Night. At the center of the portrait is not her father, the mayor, or her mother, or any of her brothers. It's her. They're all in dark clothes. She's in this like iridescent white dress.
Nancy was the baby and the only girl. So she was extraordinarily special.
She's on the front page of the newspaper the day after she's born. It's a girl for the Alessandros is the headline after, they'd had 5 boys. So there's never a time when she's not in the spotlight.
All right. So that's 3 minutes of getting to know Nancy Pelosi. I'm not going to share more of her video, but I will do an analysis. And this is just from my opinion. What you heard, or what I heard mostly in that video, and this is literally on her page, is that it's been a feminine masculine struggle from day one when she got into Congress, as far as what she was talking about. This says a lot to me, because when you put something on, like they said, the social media or something to represent yourself, especially as a candidate, it always have a message and have a tone. These things are calculated. So she wanted you to know that it was a masculine and a feminine energy struggle within our politics, that she had to grind her teeth, be strong, and literally not bite the bullet, but make sure that she become, and I'm not going to say become, what I have heard, just doing my little research that I have, is that I keep hearing crude. I keep hearing allegedly. This is a video. I'm going to not show it, but I'm going to put it in the actual description, where her daughter, you have to listen to the whole Democratic spew. But she said, Nancy will cut your head off. You got to be tough growing up with boys. Okay. So I'm going to tell you this. I grew up with boys as well. So there's 2 sides to this. One, you're going to be treated like a princess. So you're going to have this thing where, you have to treat me like this, because the boys around you, especially if you're the youngest, they're going to either hold you at esteem or they're going to be beating you up. I went through both of that. So with that goes to say, you had to be a little bit tough too, because you had to make sure you got your plate. You had to make sure that you stand your ground and these people don't bully you. So she was strong. She's a strong woman. Let's just say that. It's take a lot to, stand her position. Now, so we do know, just talking about it just a little bit, Nancy Pelosi, so I'm going to give y'all a little background, because I'm not coming in here just hot, because when we get into this conversation asking about what happened to her husband, I just want you to know that I understand this woman. I mean, I took my time to research her, and at the end of the day, it's not biased. I'm going to ask these questions. We're going to ask some difficult questions tonight. So, as we know that she was raised under politics. So we know, allegedly, that to get into politics, you got to know somebody to know somebody. And the way that they presented that video as her being the main centerpiece of her father's election picture was basically, to me, because, we deal with the intrinsic and things like that, and just paying attention to signs and symbols over here, not just what's in front of us. That was saying that she was the progenitor. She's been in the game for a long time, a little too long. All right, so getting down to the mathematics, what they say she is a master in her craft. Literally, they had boxing gloves with NP on it. They said one of the videos that I wanted to show you, and I think it do show you here, because I'm going to go into another video where basically they talk about, how they pre-solicit votes before it even hit the floor. Okay, let's watch this video. And they said that she's a shark. She's a shark at it. Okay, just a few minutes of it. It's like a 12-minute video, but I'm gonna put it inside of the comments. Then I'm gonna put it inside the description. So whenever you want to watch it, you can watch the whole thing yourself. But I just want to hear you guys hear what they say about the speaker and some of her tactics. She's a strong woman. Okay.
This is okay to roll no on this. He said to somebody, he's supposed to get a pass from the speaker, but he's thinking of a different speaker. Don't get out that.
The speaker was very masterful about rounding up members who had difficulties with the Affordable Care Act for whatever reason. She had to persuade those members kind of one by one that they had to go onto the bill. You do not take it to the floor for debate until you have the votes locked up.
I had a little disturbing report, and he said we expect to get a pass on this. There are no passes.
Say it.
Especially when
I didn't say that, Black
that's
people.
central
I want
to
y'all to
your
listen.
Democrats.
Oh my gosh, it's Nancy Pelosi like you've never seen her before. That was a clip from the new HBO documentary, Pelosi in the House.
All right, I'm going to let y'all watch the rest of that, but that is exactly what I wanted y'all to hear. That lobbying goes on behind the back door. So no one tells me that a lot of our politicians hasn't been pre-lobbied before they go and make their vote. It's right here, this MSNBC. This is not alleged. This is not my opinion. This is exactly what they say they do, which means that in some cases where you have the general public having some, position on certain topics, it may be overshadowed by pre-lobbying conversations. I'm just going to leave that right there because I can't go too deep because I will get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble. We're not getting in trouble tonight, but we're going to talk and we're going to understand what's going on, okay? So we got a little brief understanding of Nancy Pelosi. What I wanted to do before we get into the attack of her husband, I'm going to pull up the article, but I do want to, start to talk about who her husband is because he has a little bit of bread. He does make a good amount of money. I did find the most non-biased information I can find because everything is like once you put people's name in, it's all there. Party stuff. She's the best. This is what she did. I just want the real raw facts. So according to Wikipedia, that's the best I could get right now. Paul Francis Pelosi, he was born April 15th in 1940. American businessman who owned and operate financial lens services in San Francisco-based estate and a venture capital investment consulting firm. He was the owner of Sacramento Mountain Lions of the United Football League. So he get money off of all of that. He is married to Nancy Pelosi, the 52nd Speaker of the United States. Now, one of the things I want to tell you, when I kept looking for information about him, everything always led back to her. Like it literally says, the richest man, how did he get all this money? You go to read it and it's like Nancy Pelosi. I'm like, what? Okay. So just told you a little bit about his career. He did capital venture and financial leasing services was the company. He also played a role in having ownership in, he said he previously invested in Oakland Invaders of the United States Football League. So this man has money. This man is someone who's been in politics. He played a lot of different roles, but I was trying to figure out where did this theme of vengeance come? Okay. Now I'm using this word vengeance because this is not typical for someone to be assaulted twice, not once, but twice with a hammer, bludgeon, twice. Someone wants him not here. And that's what we want to just ask some questions because we're going to also look at this from a perspective of if this was your neighbor, if he was your neighbor, if she was your neighbor, not Nancy Pelosi, what would you think? How would you actually evaluate this situation? And that's what I want y'all to do. Just evaluate it from just outside of her being a Democrat. You love Democrats. I'm a Democrat. I'm a Republican. No. Okay. So now let's just get into this article. Nancy Pelosi husband attacks suspect David DePape pleads not guilty federal charges. This was the first attack, which took place in October into November. Okay. I don't know the exact date, but I hope people are highlighting because I keep saying Nancy Pelosi husband attack. They didn't say for the second time because this is the second time. And this is reminding me of some Snapped. I watch a lot of that stuff. On top of y'all see I do a lot, but to desensitize, I watch Snap. I watch, what girlfriends do for their men. I watch some of those park ranger video. I mean, you know, where it's just mysterious disappearances and stuff. And these things will be real. Okay. So I just want you to go back a little bit before we just go into this. Is the Democrats allegedly, not all of them, but some members of the Democrat has a high affinity for death around them. Allegedly. Because I went to look for some of these videos, and because I didn't keep the videos because I wasn't really into politics and proving that somebody had a lot of people passing around them. And it wasn't Nancy Pelosi, it's another Democrat member, and her name sound like Hillary. Okay? Allegedly. So we know how cutthroat you have to be in there. I just need y'all to remember some of these real weird things. Okay. So let's just get into Nancy Pelosi. I want to husband first and foremost. I wish him a speedy recovery. I pray to God that he actually recovers from this. This is a strong man to get a head injury twice. And we pray that he make it through. Okay. Because from what I heard from the video, coming from a perspective of a nurse, that head injury was serious. And I was watching a nursing post, and it made me a little upset because I know that big old scam came out with nurses faking their nursing license. She was like, "Oh, why is who's snoring like that in the background?" If somebody got hit in the head with a hammer, any type of neuro or head injury, you're going to hear snoring because your breathing center is in there. So they obviously hit the breathing center. So I was a little upset about that because not only we should be knowledgeable, but it was really disrespectful. This man got literally bludgeoned in the head on TV. They keep showing it. And the only reason why I'm going to show it because I want y'all to see the sequence of events. And we're going to ask some questions behind the sequence of events because it does not make sense. Okay, so this was the first attack. This is ridiculous.
I just switched to Verizon Business Unlimited. It is just
hear it too. Let me get on to my make sure that y'all can definitely hear it because I just went live and let me get on to my all right, let's go.
Speaker Pelosi this morning is saying she doesn't have any plans to step away from Congress. We're going to watch as these leadership fights play out. She says she's not going to talk about that just yet. But we've got senators openly calling.
All right, so I know y'all can't hear it. Hold on one second. Let's remove it. I knew it. I be knowing StreamYard be a little bit weird. All right, let's play that one more time. Let's see, can we hear it? Because this is ridiculous. Let's play it. This is about her husband's first attack. This is not the first time. This happened in about, like we said, October, November last year. And it's happening less than a year from now again.
This morning is saying she doesn't have any plans to step away from Congress. We're going to watch as these leadership fights play out. She says she's not going to talk about that just yet. But we've got senators openly calling Republican senators to delay things. Josh Hawley said,
"See, look, this is disrespectful. I thought this was going to be about her husband. This is an article. Nancy Pelosi husband attacked suspect, and they talk about the suspect pleaded not guilty. Let's just go into that. I thought the video was going to be related to that. That's so disrespectful." Oh, a Canadian man accused of breaking into the house of Speaker Nancy Pelosi home last month and assaulting her husband with a hammer in the middle of the night, appeared in federal court for the first time on Tuesday, pleaded not guilty in a brief hearing. David DePape, 42, faces federal charges of assault and an immediate family member of a federal official, and attempted kidnap of the federal officer for the alleged home invasion attack that sent Paul Pelosi, he's 82 years old at the time. This man is so old. And I knew it. I'm like, he's so old. to the hospital for emergency surgery for a skull fracture. So it's another one. The charges carry 30 to 20 years in prison term, Representative Lee, if he is convicted. The suspect spoke with his attorney, a federal public defender, is in husband tone and only spoke up hushed tone. I don't know why I said husband. Hushed tone and only spoke up to tell the court his name during a 10-minute hearing in which he appeared shackled in the orange gel jumpsuit. Okay, so where's the picture of the man? This is the court documents. I'm going to put this inside of the comments so you guys can look at this article yourself, because people may not be talking about this. So it's another gentleman. This guy is from Canada. Nobody's figuring out why he allegedly attacked, not allegedly, he did. Why he attacked Mr. Pelosi. What is the actual reason? Now, usually when something happens like a crime or a violent attack, there's something that stems from it. Either you are mad at the person, or somebody paid you to be mad at the person, or you mad at the person. That is only two ways to this situation. Especially, I watch a lot of them crime videos. So I'm like, okay, it's only two options: that he did something to somebody, or somebody close to him don't want him unalive. The man is 82 years old. The first thing that I ask is, what harm is he? When you look at the video, you're gonna this man was strong. This man was strong because he was able to hold this big other guy for a while until the cops came. And it was like he released a little bit, maybe because he thought that the cops was going to do what they was supposed to, or what they usually do. We're going to talk about that, but it just didn't make any sense. So we know that David DePape is the first gentleman who attacked him. Okay. And David DePape is currently in jail. So it ain't David DePape who did this. This is someone else. Okay. So as a cop, the first thing you want to ask is, who has a motive to do this to him? First and foremost, we don't have a lot of evidence because where it comes to her life, you don't hear nothing. You don't hear too much of anything. Everything is secret. You know how the secrets, we don't know much. We down at the bottom. But if that was your neighbor, or you were watching this on a CSI movie, we're going to sit back. Who would be the first person that you would think? Who would be the first person to come to mind that you would think that will have vengeance enough? Because let's talk about vengeance. The reason why I'm saying vengeance enough is because there's many options to finish somebody. And when people are trying to do things, from what I watch from CSI and things like that, they usually go the path of least resistance, meaning they're going to use a pew pew, ping ping, little poison. They do that stuff. But when you do, when it gets violent like that, where it's going to be blood all over the place and evidence all over the place, it is from either passion, really, really bad hate, or demonic possession. And I'm going to say it. There has been a lot of things going on in society. And it's just heightening. And we call it demon time because the stars ain't talking about it now because the demon is out. They like, the demon said, don't tell the stars to say it no more, because they were saying it a lot through the pandemic. Demon time, demon time. And now we have these demonic behaviors. Who hit somebody in the head with a hammer unless they Jack the Ripper? I'm not saying these things doesn't happen, but we're going to go over some of this stuff on Uncensored. It's a slew of violence that's going on amongst the whole United States. So let's get to it. I just want you to think about it. We just kind of thinking about it. We're not thinking about it as she's a Democrat, she's a Republican. She's our neighbor. She's somebody that we watching possibly on Snapped. I am, and allegedly something's not right. I'm not saying it's her. I'm not saying it's that, but who has the hate? I mean, even if he had a business partner that wanted to get him done because they had to get money, they had to get some settlement, I think they're going to do it the easiest way as possible. I think there's enough money circulating in that genre for somebody to get a sharpshooter. I'm just saying, allegedly, it would make more sense. It's more easy. It's more cleaner. I'm not telling y'all to do that because I am a woman of God, but I think from common sense. Now, I just want y'all to think about this situation. I'll be watching all these little CSI stuff. You know, I'm into law. I'm a legal nurse and consultant. Yeah, I'm going to ask these questions. So let's get to the updated one. This is terrible. I may not be able to get all the way through it. I might close my eyes because I can't watch some of this stuff. I can hear it. I'm gonna make my analysis. My stomach is not for this destruction of humanity. That's how I look at it. I look at it as a soul being hurt. So it hurts me to watch it. I don't know this man, but I look at him as an old man patient. And I'm like, oh my God, how could he just do this? What does this man feel so much in his heart for Mr. Pelosi that he's going to do it and in front of the cops? We're going to watch this together. We're going to watch this. It hurts to watch. God bless this man's soul. Bless this man's soul. Oh my God. Look at this.
Yeah, definitely don't want all of here. I definitely don't want all of here. Hello.
I didn't watch this whole thing at all. Look at this. We're going to ask some questions. God, don't let me cry.
Yeah. Fucking said 2620, right? No, 2640. Oh. Yeah, it literally said that. Hi. Guys. How you doing?
How are you?
What's going on, man?
Everything's good.
Hi. Drop the hammer.
Nope. Hey.
What is going on right now?
I'm not getting an answer on calls.
Bro,
I'm sorry. I can't. Wait. I'm sorry. It's terrible. Oh my God. It's the terriblest thing in the world. All right, I can't watch it no more. I'm sorry, guys. Y'all gonna have to watch that on your own. Now, I'm sorry. I'm trying to have a tougher skin for this. Is not the topic, is the actual situation. Now, we're just gonna move through this a little bit. First and foremost, the first question we have to ask is, where is Miss Peloski? Anybody? This is the second attack. Your husband was attacked, an elderly man at the age of 82, and he was by himself before, allegedly. I don't know who they was trying to kidnap with the kidnapping, what they was charging, but I never heard she was there. Correct me if I'm wrong. In this situation, I'm not hearing that Miss Pelosi is here. So my question is, are they separated? Do he live by himself and does she live by herself? And the next question is, if she was out of town, these are questions that the cops should be asking in the general public, because we got to ask for common sense. If she was out of town, we always going to ask, where's the security? Because that was one of my first questions from the first time it happened. These are people who are alleged leaders in our great government, and they don't have security around their house or in a gated community. If it is, it should be some security. That's the secondly. I'm going to secondly because I'm all the way on thirdly. You leave your husband, elderly man, over 82, who already recovering from one head injury. And I don't know if he had any type of diagnosis. I'm not going to say that as soon as you get old, you get Alzheimer's, you get dementia. That's not what I'm saying. But there are some memory lapses. There are some things that you have to pay attention to your senior family member about. You know this. Tripping, the way they walk, you got to move the carpet, things like that. If anybody has seniors and they around them, you have to make sure they're safe because it's like having a second baby around. Okay, so I'm not even going to say that he has dementia or Alzheimer's, but there has to be some safety mechanism around. And usually by this time, we have home health aides around to help. No home health aide, no security, no Nancy Pelosi. Okay, the next thing I want to ask, if he was already attacked, is this a second home? I don't know if this is a second location. How did they know where they lived? If I hope they didn't live in the same house that he got attacked the first time, because that means that psychopaths know where you live. You have more than enough money to move. We have to think about this. We have to think about it. Let's not just look at the surface level. So maybe you're in the same house, or maybe you're not. Either way, how do they know that he's home by himself? Again. Then you have the cops that show up, that they have to know that that's Nancy Pelosi's husband, household. You telling me, like, okay, where I live at, Shaq lives close. I know my county and the police department knows where Shaq live at. Shaquille O'Neal live in my town. Okay? You think if a burglary alarm went off at Shaquille O'Neal house that they not coming full force? They're not coming 3-4 cars deep just because of who he is. Now let's just add on to this that he was already attacked. So the police should be on high alert. The police should be on high alert. Why? So then we get a little bit of white privilege. And I don't care if y'all don't like it, it is the truth. If there was a disturbance, those cops come with guns drawn. If they open the door and they see someone standing there like this, 2 men with a hammer, and let them been black, they would have had their guns drawn, telling them to put down the hammer, put down the hammer. They don't care who has the hammer. It's both of their hands on it. They don't know who the aggressor. And you don't hear the cops saying that. Listen.
How you doing?
You see the hammer?
What's going on, man?
He didn't say, yo, put down the hammer, put down the hammer. That's from the rip. That is a weapon. Usually cops use that for their excuse or their reasoning to pull their gun out and defend themselves. So you're telling me that these cops don't feel threatened at all? Where these two individuals has a hammer, you don't know their mental state, you don't know who feel away towards cops. You just go, hey, buddy, what's going on? And then when you see Mr. Pelosi's face, it's like he remind me of a dementia patient, because with dementia patients, they can't sometimes articulate themselves fast enough or even articulate their words when they're in a dementia episode. I'm not saying he got dementia, but I had a woman that I used to work with when I was in a nursing home, and she was amazing. But when she went into her dementia spells, because it was like she was in and out, she would literally just lick her tongue out of her mouth, and she'd be like, and she wouldn't talk. She didn't know how to use her spoon or anything, and it'll go on for half an hour, 45 minutes. And some of the things that could pull her out of that was her son singing to her. And it kind of brought her back into reality. Now, I'm just kind of letting y'all evaluate this from a different perspective, because it's just a little weird. It's very, very weird when you see his expression. That's why I say he reminds me of a dementia patient, because he's confused. And they like, oh, he's looking like he knows him.
Hi.
You see? And it's like he got confused because he was like, hi. You're literally just struggling with somebody for a hammer. Obviously, some struggle, and he know his life is in danger. But instead of him saying, help, get this man off of me, he says, hi. This is hurtful. This is an analyst behind this, analyzing I'm telling you guys, I maybe love people too much, or just human beings, but this was terrible. This was terrible. So I'm not going to dig in this too long. We're already about 35 minutes. I'm only going to make this 40 minutes. My thing is, this gentleman right here, he was very, very determined to carry out whatever his plan was, and that was to attack and bludgeon Mr. Pelosi, which is one of the most brutal ways to harm someone. You have to be very demented, upset, in a moment of rage, or MK Ultra, allegedly, to do this in front of the police. It wasn't even that like, oh, I'm caught. The guy, oh my God, look at the guy's face. Look, let's analyze this mofo. Yeah, he like, oh, well, the police is here. Look.
Man, everything's good. All right. Drop the hammer.
No. I don't want to see this again.
Nope. Hey.
What is going on right now?
I'm not getting an answer on call back.
Bro, shit.
Stop. Okay, I'm done. I'm done with that clip. We're going to take that clip off of the screen. I cannot watch that anymore. So I asked some very, very, very critical questions. I'm not going to dig into this anymore because I don't want them to think that I'm going down the path of conspiracy lane. But I asked some real questions that the general public really needs to ask. Because if it wasn't Nancy Pelosi and we heard this story and we was watching Snap, we would have knew who did it or who we would have thought did it or thought planted. But in this instance, we're not going to think like that. I just want us to look at people more deeply than just a title. I just want us to look at what people do more deeply than just a title. I just want us to look at situations that surrounds certain people more deeply than just a title. Okay? What I'm going to close off with is this really bothered me as well. And it has nothing to do with this, but it is another weird situation connected to the Democratic Party. This is made me so mad too. I was mad. Around the election time, we had a gentleman called Seth Johnson, I believe. No, Seth Rich. That's his name, not Seth Johnson. Seth Rich was murdered shortly before the election took place. And he was the person that was over the voter data system. He was the director. And you know how Trump kept saying, it's voter fraud, fraud. So I just want y'all to listen because this gentleman's story has never been solved. And this is another example of a weird situation happening around the Democratic Party. So to my people, hold on, baby. Why went small on me? Who believes that everything is perfect?
Hey man, I'm gonna talk tonight.
Let's go back.
Y'all know lately.
Darby gonna pop up on my screen.
More than 10 days after the murder of Democratic Party staff member Seth Rich, police say they still have no suspects. Rich, a Jewish data analyst for the Democratic National Committee who works on polling station expansion, was shot and killed as he walked to his DC home on Sunday, July the 10th. Police told Rich's parents that they believed his death was the result of a botched robbery, though Rich's killer did not take his wallet or phone. The police are currently offering a $50,000 reward for anyone with information that would lead to the arrest of the assailant. Immediately after Rich's death, the reward had been set at $25,000.
All right, so I just wanted to show y'all that because I wanted to send love and blessings to Mr. Seth Richard rich. People don't remember him, but he was murdered right before the election, and he was a top official for the Democratic Party. But people don't ask these type of questions over here on Uncensored Enlightenment Talk. We're going to ask those questions because these things are weird. So today, all I want you to do is when you read these articles about our public officials and people that are involved in weird things, I need you to step out of who they are and then look at it from a CSI perspective. We asked some really good questions today. The reactions of the police was severely compromised. That is Nancy Pelosi's home. Her husband was already attacked. Why wasn't the security out there? And once that alarm went off, why they didn't go full-fledged? They know that this man was just injured with a hammer by somebody. And you go to this person's door, you see him holding a hammer, you see him confused, and you don't pull out your certified pistol that you get as a police officer. I'm going to call it what it is. That situation was severely blotched, either because of on purpose or white privilege, because that doesn't make any sense. I mean, I don't care if I was the cops, I wouldn't care what color you are. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, we're not supposed to, but you know how some people do. But if I see two people there with a hammer, my goal is to diffuse everything. I don't know what's going on. I'm not gonna say, "Hey, buddy, what's going on?" I'm gonna say, "Hey, put down the hammer." Everybody about to get it. Everybody about to get it because, like you said, as a police officer, your life is allegedly in danger. Why didn't they react like that? Where was Miss Pelosi? Can somebody answer that? And if she was going out of town again, how did they know that he was by himself? I feel so bad for Mr. Pelosi. I feel like he's one of my seniors that I wanted to take care of. Like, I don't know what he did in his lifetime. He probably was a you know what, because Maryland, you know, he used to be over Maryland. Maryland didn't really like us too much, but that's here nor there. Right now, he's a senior man. He looks like he got dementia, and somebody doesn't want him around. No, somebody doesn't want him alive. And this is not normal. I don't understand why the FBI is not like watching, really watching. Because if that was anybody else's wife, what would they do? They gonna ask the wife. That's the first thing they do when it's domestic situation. Not domestic, because this is not domestic. But this is the first thing they do when a partner is injured like this. They ask, are they estranged? Is it any problems in the relationship? That's the first thing they ask. That's why I'm asking too. Maybe I watch too much CSI, but when you watch them news articles, they're not going to say that. So we're going to keep our eye on it, and we're going to see if these mainstream news is going to ask these pertinent questions to start investigating. Because I'm going to keep it honest. The only reason why I think many crimes are being pushed through the system and being looked at and solved is because of the outrage of the people who are watching. It's not usually the system. I mean, the Black community, we be pushing, but it's all communities. Once they see something, they push it, they push a narrative, they start asking questions, and then we get them to ask because they can't hide it no more. So I'm starting a trend. Don't hate me. At the end of the day, you know, I got that, put that blessing on me, but we're going to ask these questions because either that man hated Mr. Pelosi, either he had a duty to carry out, or he was under demonic possession or MK Ultra, allegedly. He carried it out right in front of the cops. So we're going to leave off on that note. Tomorrow night, we're going to come back with another set of hot topics. There's a lot going on. There's going to be some things that's going to pull on a string of your hearts. We're going to talk about some bad things that's been happening in society. Hopefully, I can bring one or two good topics and something funny. But we are going to be calling out a lot of ratchetness, a lot of demonicness, the things that that we're kind of not paying attention to, especially in the Black YouTube streets, because I noticed that our commentary is literally about content creators and stars. And I ain't mad because, you know, I'm going to put it out there where we need to. But we're going to have to take this conversation to another level. Because at the end of the day, for us to overcome the system, we have to understand it and stop actually looking at it from oh, this is how I feel. This is how I feel. No, no, no. We got to move with facts, not fiction. And we got to ask some logical questions. And that's why you're here, part of the Enlightenment family. So I want to say thank you. And I love you guys. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Gotta go.
Would you like to learn a brand new and innovative way to invest your extra money that has a low barrier to entry and low competition? What if I told you that it is a guaranteed method to get up to 18 to 20% return on your investment? Tax lien and deed purchasing is the only way to get into the real estate market through the back door. No credit and no loans needed. This method isn't commonly taught, and therefore the competition is very low, for now. Put together a 14-hour info-packed course which will teach you everything you'll need to know to get started. Learn at your own pace, step-by-step guided video and aids to start you on the TLC deed investment process. The course offers many learning tools for new investors, helping ensure you safely invest in tax liens and deeds. Contact us today and join the ByJack team.